Good evening, guys. Welcome, YouTube, to episode number 55 of the FPL Family. I don't know if I had it on for the whole time the music was playing, but I had the thanks for joining screen on rather than the we're about to go. So anybody that was joining kind of probably went, well, I missed it. What's happened to the last hour? So sorry about that, guys. It's been one of those days. I've been in for literally about an hour. Off the plane, flying back from Dublin. I say no time to prep. I've actually done quite a lot of listening. Whenever I travel a lot, I tend to listen to the videos and the vlogs and the pods. I've listened to Planet FPL, been listening to Who Got the Assist on YouTube. So I feel like I'm reasonably prepared. Before we start, guys, we have to give a word to one of the scouts, one of the fantasy football scouts, who we all know and love, and I certainly have been watching for many, many years. To Jonty, who is if you don't know who he is, you're probably doing FPL wrong, actually. He's a big noise in the Fantasy Premier League stratosphere, if you like. Huge on Twitter, big on the scouts, and he's a leader of the Scoutcasts, etc., etc. So, bit of bad news, I think we had in the last couple of days from Joe that he tweeted. So we just wanted to say, wishing you all the best, Joe. Hope you get well, mate. I think he's putting all of his focus into getting well and leaving FPL to one side for a moment, which is absolutely the right thing to do, Joe. So get well soon, mate. Hope everything goes okay, and yes, look forward to seeing you back very, very soon. So with that, let's start the show, guys. Episode 55. I'm Lee. This is Sam. First of all, I want to hear from you, Sam, about the new stadium. We went for the first time to the Brighton game on Wednesday. How was it? Tell us about it.
It was
met expectations.
Flipping amazing.
You liked it, didn't you? You were doing some good Instagram lives from the stadium. I saw it very, very good.
I wouldn't have said they were that good.
I liked
them.
Just
basically me like being overawed by the place.
I thought they were excellent.
I mean, honestly, I can't quite compute how it's fitted in that space, because it is huge.
What?
It's huge. Like White Hart Lane. Well, you've been to Old White Hart Lane.
Yeah.
It was all sort of tucked in, wasn't it, between all those
little
houses.
It was quite an intimate stadium, wasn't it?
Yeah, but like the surround of it was quite kind of compacted in.
Yes.
This thing is like a beacon.
It's
like you can
huge.
see it from miles away. It is beautiful, and it was really weird because when we got there, Craig and I, we went, and had a little stroll because we were in the south. So
Craig is my brother, by the way, for anybody that doesn't follow you on Instagram.
Yeah,
I think most of the Instagrammers will know who Craig is.
We'll have met him, in my Insta Live. And so he and I walked sort of round towards the south stand, and it was, going in there for the first time. The doors we came into, we were standing virtually on the centre spot of the old pitch.
Haven't they got like a little memorial there?
Yeah, they have.
There's here's the old centre spot.
I should have taken a photo of it, but when I'm there on Tuesday again, I'll take a photo. It's the centre spot, a little monument thing there, and it's lovely. And it was, when you first go in, you sort of go down some stairs into the touchline bar, the one that's the full length, and all the restaurants and stuff, and it is like, oh my gosh, where have all these people come from?
And what did you make of the game then? In terms of the game, it wasn't a particularly great game until Eriksen popped up with a bit of magic.
I mean, kudos to Brighton, because
defended
my God,
like Trojans,
did they defend?
Didn't they? Defended like Trojans. And I, for one, was sitting on a Duffy and a Ryan potential. Well, to be honest, going into that double game week, I had the reverse expectations of what I had in the previous game week in 34, because obviously you guys will remember, there was Duffy captains and stuff going on in 34, and we were all expecting 2 clean sheets from Huddersfield and Cardiff at home, I think, were their games. Or was it Bournemouth and Cardiff? Anyway, 2 easy home games. Fluffed their lines, frankly, the Brighton defenders, and then have gone into game week 30 into 35 against Wolves away and dug in and got a point and gone away to the new stadium at Spurs. Almost got the point, and that would have exceeded. They already had exceeded expectations by drawing at Wolves. It would have massively exceeded expectations to get anything out of Spurs.
And to be fair, I mean, Matt Ryan didn't really do a lot, which says how good the defence were in front of him.
They were fantastic.
They were on one that night, and literally they were just, anytime anyone took more than one touch of the ball, somebody was like making it their job to go and deal with them. And it was quite phenomenal to watch, actually, because you kind of find yourself thinking, if they can play like that, I can see why they've not scored that many goals, because they basically didn't. I mean, Vertonghen and Toby basically just stood on the halfway line for the whole game.
Do you not think they're sticking to what they know best, though, Brighton? And we'll come to it. We'll obviously review have a look at the fixtures. They've got another nice home fixture now. They've got, I think, Newcastle at home coming up in this game week. I, for one, will be sticking with Duffy for sure, probably with Ryan as well. Not sure if I want to put all my eggs in the Brighton basket and double up and play them both. But at the same time, I think they are sticking to what they know. They're thinking, right, we can't score a lot of goals, so we're going to defend and we're going to do a really good job of it and try and grind out a couple of draws and then we're safe.
Yeah, but I mean, they're only 3 points ahead of Cardiff now.
It is still game on. It's absolutely still game on.
And the trouble is that if they come up against, and I'm not sure who Brighton's final fixtures are, but if they come up with anybody
they've got a tough run in,
that's got decent attacking threat. I mean, for us, we were sat there and I was talking to the guys around me, and obviously Craig, who I was with, and we were saying right from very early on in the game, this isn't going to be the sort of football match where we pass the ball in their net. We tried a lot in the first half to do that, and it was never going to be that type of game. It was always going to be a shot from outside the box. We all expected it to be Son, actually,
Absolutely.
Rather than Eriksen, but it was likely. And I think, if you're watching that Brighton game as an opposition, then that is the way to play Brighton. You just have to play them. You're never going to break through their defence, because that's what they're trying to do, just defend well.
Absolutely.
So you can't pass through them. You've got to just get the long shots from outside the box.
All right, well, look, we've got plenty of admin to do today, guys, before we get on to the game week, and we're going to obviously do our usual preview of game week 36. Only 3 game weeks to go now. No more. Not a lot more strategy, no double game weeks, no chips for a lot of people, although some people will be holding their triple captainship.
There's nowhere to hide anymore either.
Well, that's it. We've got 3 game weeks left, and it's bang, bang, bang. 3 lots of fixtures, and that's it. And then we're done. And then we're done.
When we were in the chat in the Slack on during the Man United Man City game last night, we were saying, Karatman was saying that actually, when you have a bad game week now, or you have players that don't perform when others are, there's so much, you don't have the weeks to recover from it like we've had earlier on in the season, and all of a sudden you kind of find yourself going, oh, and feeling really annoyed with people like Valerie, who get a cold and then don't play.
Yeah, comes on for 1 pointer, which on a bench boost week,
he came on.
Yes, 100% take it. 1 point.
But you kind of find yourself being frustrated with that. Mane blanking, that sort of thing. It's a frustration now, because you think, ugh, could have had Delafeu with 17.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of Karam, we have a quick thank you to say to Karam. So we got this in the post. Was it yesterday or maybe the day before? It's quite delicate, isn't it? So yeah, show it up to the camera. So Karam, thank you so much for sending this little present to us from your homeland, from Holland. Absolutely sensational.
Our little girl loves it.
Our little girl absolutely loves it. We're kind of trying to tell her that it's not really a toy. It makes a little noise as well, doesn't it? Very soothing, isn't it? For those stressful FPL days.
It's so cute.
So listen, Karam, thank you for sending that, and your very kind words in your note that you sent along with it. So that's awesome. We love getting that. Absolutely brilliant.
I love it.
We also have, as
Thank you.
It's Retro Thursday. We have our shirts, and I've only just noticed we're matching. We're going to be probably quite reflecting in here with the light and stuff. 2 white shirts here, a bit of retro going on. Here is your retro man for Retro Thursday. Here,
I decided to match the little man and go retro England tonight.
Here he is, guys. See if you can figure out who that is. Absolutely nothing to be won, just a pat on the back and a bit of respect. I think that's an easy one today.
Do you?
Compared to what we've had, I think that's easy. Because we've had some toughies, but there it is. There is your little Corinthians man for today, and we shall reveal who that is at the end of the show. I think that's an easy one. I think the guys will get that.
Okay.
No clues required. I think you'll get that. Before we get on to our teams and just have a really quick review of how we got on in last game week, let's say hello to a few people. FPL Chancellor's in. Dan, how you doing? Michael Svenden is in. He's saying it's me. No. Sort of. No.
Not really.
No, it's not me. Zach Jones is in. How are you doing? Sparky Mere, nice to see you. How are you doing? Daily Cyber Demon, it's you. You'll say it looks like me. Come on. Tony Terrell, it's Lee. Okay, guys, it's not me. Simon the Bomb, give us a clue. No, Simon, no clues. That is an easy one, guys. You should be getting that. That's easy. Kun Karam is here. Karam, how are you doing? Very nice to see you. Good evening. FPL Eye Test is here. James Brady, Kevin Millier, Super Sport Gaming, and a whole host of you guys. So thank you guys for joining us. We got to crack on, really. We've got to crack on because we've got so much to talk about. Not just previewing the game week coming up. I want to talk about Jammy Picks as well. If you've got a Jammy Pick for this week, you haven't thought one, have you?
I'll get one before.
We'll get one.
Well, after the Perez one, I thought I would just retire on that.
That went down like an absolute storm on Twitter.
Retire on that.
That's it. Finished. Jammy Pick's done for the week. We've got to talk about teams. There's our Twitter. If you've not seen it already, at FPL Family on the left hand side. Go check us out and follow us over there. At FPL Family on Instagram as well, if you want to go and chat to Sam over there. And of course, patreon.com/FPL Family if you want to come and join our family over on Patreon. All the links, everything you'll need in the description below. So let's have a look at the teams. Here's how I ended up for the week.
It's just unusual, isn't it? Doing this first.
Yeah, so I think
it makes sense.
It's worth reiterating simply because it's one of my best game weeks.
Oh, here we go.
So far,
not top of the Patreon league anymore, though, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm not top of
You've been usurped.
I'm not top, which is good. I don't want to be top. I can't win my own prize. That's no good. But a game week rank of 119 is still pretty good. I actually slipped a bit after the second round of fixtures because I had Jimenez captain, which I couldn't believe. So I was out last night in Dublin.
You didn't have a red arrow, though?
No. So I got up to about 60k on the halfway point of the double game week, and then when the other 6 fixtures got played, I've slipped to something like 63, 64.
Oh right. Okay,
so I slipped a few places down, mainly because I think there was quite a lot of Sterling captains out there. So there was I think he got an assist, didn't he? So there's probably a double up there. Jimenez captain was actually a bit of a fail. I was actually really disappointed with that. To go 2 Wolves home games, and I know the Brighton game. Okay, that can happen with Brighton digging in, but they smashed Arsenal 3-0 at half time, wasn't it? So I remember looking at my phone thinking, "Oh, 3-0, excellent." I'm already dreaming of the points that Jimenez is going to have.
No.
And actually, it was Doherty that got the points. Now, don't get me wrong, very pleased to have the goal from Doherty. But I thought Jimenez, 3 goals, no involvement. That is unusual for a player who the stats say is a very highly involved player when it comes to goals at Molineux. So if you captained Jimenez, I think you're right to feel a little bit aggrieved, as do I. So a bit disappointed with that. But if I look around my team, I feel like it was a very, very solid game week indeed. The bench boost has done well. I absolutely didn't want to start Ryan and Duffy. If I wasn't bench boosting, they would have been on my bench, and I'd have been gutted to miss out on the 20 points between them. And Vardy being a single game week, benched him as well. So a good 29, what's that, with Højbjerg as well. 33 points from the bench boost. Absolutely going to take that. I'm very, very pleased with that. So 105 overall, pretty good. Up to 64k in overall rank. So starting to consolidate a little bit in terms of where I want to be. As I mentioned on the last live stream, want to get into the top 50k. Probably, that is achievable. Probably need to go a little bit against the template just to make up the spots to get into the top 50k. But I feel like it's an achievable and realistic target now, given that a few weeks ago where I was, which was not very good. So doing all right. Let's have a look at your team. How did you end up? Not too bad, I don't think, either. 98, so very, very good indeed. A game week rank of 225, not to be sniffed at all, and back up to 25k. So very briefly, talk us through the team.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm a bit disappointed not to have hit 100 this week. I think there was plenty of opportunity for Son to have scored me points, and he didn't.
I don't think there wasn't many captains. Like all the obvious captain choices,
hauls.
No one really hauled, did they?
Not really.
Like Jimenez, Son,
no.
Even Sterling and Aguero didn't really haul, did they? So
No.
I don't think if you had a Jimenez or even Son captain's not too bad with 5 there, but if you had like a Jimenez captain, I don't feel like that's you haven't been punished too much. Because a lot of the other captains didn't really haul that badly.
Yeah, but no, I mean it is what it is. I think the Valerie thing was a bit annoying because it meant Ward-Prowse played out of place in that first game week, like we talked about on Sunday. Mane was unlucky not to get something in that Liverpool game, so I think it could easily have been 100, 110.
Laporte as well.
Laporte's done me well.
Every double game week, the guy absolutely smashes it. 15 points for Laporte this game week, absolutely sensational.
So I'm relatively pleased with them. Obviously, back up to 25k, I'm really happy with that.
Very good.
Like given that I was at 39k 2 weeks ago, so to get back to 25, I feel like we're going in the right direction again. So I've got 3 weeks now to do 15 more K. So
very good.
Let's see.
Absolutely achievable. Achievable.
Don't know.
Okay, very good. If we've got time at the end, we shall have a look at the leagues. And like you said, are you in the April Manager of the Month? Yeah, you're here.
Yeah.
So not me anymore. It's Denville Tyrrell. So Denville, well done for getting to the summit of April's Manager of the Month by some 11 points, by the way. 124. That is a hell of a game week, by the way.
Storming month as well, because he was like, I don't think about 11th or something after the first game week, and then it's just been a steady. Oh, see what it is?
Delafeu, Laporte, Sterling. He's a Spurs fan.
That's what it is. It's the Champions League. It's inspired him.
Goodness me. All right. Well, listen. He's having an absolutely fantastic month, Denville. So
where is he?
He's 23k overall.
No, where is he in the world? Where's that?
Don't ask me questions like that. You know what my geography's like, especially when people start super chatting with currencies I don't know.
Somebody please tell me where that flag is.
Mahmood Khan, thank you for the super chat. No question there, Mahmood. So if you feel like you want to... Oh, actually, here we go. The chat's just come through. Triple captain active, he says, on Mane right now, but might change it to Vardy. Who would you have it on? I have Firmino, Son and Eriksen as candidates later on. I think that is a really nice segue into the game week. So let's just bring up the fixtures here. We're going to leave it on Denville's team for a minute. That's last week's fixtures. Let's have a look at this week's. I think we are going to get quite a lot of people playing their captain on Friday. I got a feeling, without this turning into an LFC Liverpool FPL stream, we could spend quite a lot of time talking about Liverpool. I just think that if you look at, to answer the question that's been asked there is so much going into that game that you would treble up on Liverpool, no problem. Huddersfield, terrible away from home. Liverpool, great at home. All of the assets look really, really good. By the way, that flag was from St Kitts.
Yeah, and I've just noticed that Tony's in as well. Who's top of the league.
There we go, Tony. There we go. Fantastic. Well, welcome. Liverpool versus Huddersfield. Who's in your team? Who are you bringing in? Who are you captaining? Because the two questions that I have in the poll tonight are, who's your Game Week 36 captain? And of course, I've asked the question about whether who's going to be champions again, Man City or Liverpool. Busy day today, guys, so I've been a bit rubbish, actually, with the questions on the polls. But those are the two that I've got in there. Who's your captain? Who do you think is going to win the league? Go on then, tell me about Liverpool assets for your FPL team this weekend. Who are you looking at?
I've got Robbo, I've got Mane. Mane will be my captain this week. To the rest of you, I just suggest you stay off of him because I can't get a captain right.
Even Mane, even with your captain record, Mane surely scores against Huddersfield. Do you think there's a risk of rotation? I mean, clearly we've got the Barcelona game coming up the following Wednesday. Given that this is Friday, do you think that risk is sort of nullified a little bit, given that it's a Friday game?
I think there's zero chance of rotation for the rest of the season. I don't see it. I think the only one that's got a risk of rotation now is the Gomez situation at the back. But in terms of those front three, I think Mane, Salah, Firmino, they play every single week from now till the end of the season, because you need that.
What about Salah being pictured in New York during the week, eating a pizza in New York City?
He's back now, though.
So he was in New
Klopp
York,
said
I
he
think.
only missed one session.
Yeah, and I think there were some statements from Klopp in the press conferences about the fact that actually the training is pretty light at the moment, because we're getting to the point of the season where the games are coming thick and fast, obviously still in the Champions League. So actually any training in between those games is pretty light. So for Salah to miss one session, and by the way, he was over there...
Didn't he do it last season as well, this?
Yeah, he was in for all sorts of PFA Player of the Awards and stuff, wasn't he? Player of the Year awards. So he was going to quite a lot of award ceremonies and missing training. And he tended then to always... He never missed a game.
No.
Or did he never miss a game? I have to check that, guys. But I think he had a pretty good record of playing even in the weeks when he had to pick up awards and stuff. And that's what he was in New York for. He was one of the top 100 influencers in the world or something, according to Time magazine. So he's hobnobbing with all the stars, all the Game of Thrones people, that sort of stuff. But I genuinely think...
Dragon Lady.
Don't call her Dragon Lady. If you're going to put a Game of Thrones reference in, you can't just put out Dragon Lady. Sacrilege.
I've no idea what
She's
her
got
name
so many
is.
different names as well. You can't call her Dragon Lady.
Queen of the Dragons? I don't know what her name is.
The Queen of the Dragon. The Mother of Dragons.
Oh, well, that's close enough.
That's not. Get it right. Come on. I will not have Game of Thrones mispronunciations on this stream. Salah then back, going to be Dragon Lady, going to be fine for the weekend, I suspect. If
Probably flew back on a dragon.
If you had stop with the dragons. If you had them both, who would you pick as captain if you had them both?
Oh, that's tough.
It is, isn't it? It's a bit of a coin toss.
Yeah, I mean, is there a right answer to that? Look, it's Huddersfield, for God's sake. What's going to happen here is that you're going to be like 4-0 up in 20 minutes, and then they're going to all get hauled off.
Well, I think potentially there's a risk of that. I mean, I'm with you. I'm not convinced that there's going to be too much rotation from the start. But if Liverpool come out the blocks, if it's 2-0 at half time, 2 or 3-0, then yeah, I can see Mane getting rested, or maybe even at the very least the foot will come off the gas a little bit, right? And I can see maybe Firmino being bought off, and somebody like Sturridge will come on, right?
Yeah. Because
Liverpool going from potentially their easiest game of the season, Huddersfield, against potentially the hardest one, going away to the Nou Camp, to Barcelona afterwards. So you've got to think that if Klopp doesn't rotate, then at the very least the guys are going to take their foot off the gas, or there's going to be some tactical substitutions to save some legs, surely, in the second half.
Yes.
My answer to the Mane or Salah question, guys, is Mane, actually. It's Mane. And the reason I say that is because Salah's confidence has come back a little bit in recent times, and I think actually the introduction of Henderson in the number 10 in the midfield there has really benefited Salah. There's no doubt about it. He's getting more touches in the box. He's getting more efforts on target, which is all good. All those things are good for Salah. What I will say, though, is if you compare him side by side with Mane, Mane's XG, and I know some of you guys are a bit indifferent towards XG. I know you're a bit indifferent towards XG. But Mane's XG is better. His quality of chance is a lot better. The sort of goals that Salah has been scoring and the way that he's been getting his FPL points. If you think about his last 3 returns in FPL, one was the foul in the box by Morrison for Cardiff when he got the assist. Now, dive, not a dive, debatable, etc. We had that conversation. The one before that was the absolute goal of the season from against Chelsea, where he belted it from halfway line or whatever it was. Absolutely stunning goal. And then the goal before that was this goal against Southampton, where it was another fantastic goal when he got it on the break.
Where he wasn't being as predictable.
Quite, and actually, so the XG, the quality of those chances, and who did I listen to? I think it was either Who Got the Assist or Planet Pod said, if you or I picked the ball up like Salah did against Chelsea, it wouldn't even reach the goal if we shot. So our XG would be, our expected goals would be very low. So therefore, Salah, the expectation of him scoring that goal is very low, but he scores it. Mane, on the other hand, is getting in all the right areas. He nodded in against Chelsea, didn't he, on a goal that you'd expect him to get. So again, the expectation is that he's going to score more goals. So I think his quality of chance is a lot better. We've spoken before about the dynamic of the front three as well. The fact that Salah is drawing that extra defender away, creating space for the other two. And I also noticed that Salah's creativity stats, actually, over the last 4, particularly last 4 at Anfield, have been very, very good. More creative than Mane and Firmino, actually. So what's happening is he's creating the havoc. He's doing all the creativity and bringing defenders in and moving them all around. And then actually the threat is coming from Mane. So I think if you're looking for assist potential and worldy goals, go for Salah. If you're looking for a high expectation of goals with a little bit of creativity as well, I think Mane's your one. And if you're looking for all-out differential because you're chasing any mini-leagues, then maybe Firmino's your one.
Yes, But if you're looking for all-out differentials, I also think that there's a good opportunity to break the cardinal sin of FPL and to captain the likes of Van Dijk or Robertson.
So 100% with you. So yes, and I think it'd be interesting to get on in the live chat and understand what you guys are doing with the Liverpool assets and how you're going to be trebling up. Having at least one defender is a very, very good thing. And actually, of the three, I would put Robbo at the bottom of that list out of Van Dijk and Trent and Robertson. Now, clearly, there's a little bit of potential rotation risk around Trent with Gomez coming back. Obviously, if you go for Van Dijk, you don't get that. Van Dijk will play, no question about it, and Robbo will play as well. So there's less rotation risk with those guys. But out of those three, I'd put Robbo last. And the reason I do that is because Huddersfield are second worst in the league for shots conceded from set pieces, and they're also second worst for headed attempts on goal. So if you're thinking about who's creating a lot of the Virgil van Dijk goals, you go back to the Watford game where we went, the live game, 5-0. Trent Alexander-Arnold, 3 assists. One of them, or at least one of them, might even have been 2, were to Virgil van Dijk. So you're going to be putting Van Dijk in there against a team that are susceptible to headed attempts from set pieces. Trent and Virgil look very, very good indeed. That's not to say Robbo is not a good pick. I think he's nailed on for 6 points. Absolutely nailed on for 6 points. Could get an assist as well, for sure. Don't think he scored a goal this season. So it could be an opportune time for him to get a goal. But I think you've got a clean sheet and an assist from Robbo for sure. But I think you've got clean sheet and goal threat and creativity from Trent. And there's a lot more higher point ceiling, in my opinion, by having Trent and by having Virgil van Dijk.
If Trent plays.
If Trent plays, which it is a risk, guys. And I can see you guys in the live chat saying, will Gomez replace Trent? Michael Sweden is saying. Should I bring Gomez in for Dunk? Aquib Jamal is saying. I don't think you should bring Gomez in, guys. I don't think you should. There is a chance that he plays, there's no doubt. And if he does play, my view is that he plays instead of Trent. But I think given that it's a Friday fixture and we don't play until the following... Is it Tuesday or Wednesday?
No, you're on Wednesday because we're on Tuesday.
So we don't play until the following Wednesday. So we get effectively 2 more days than you, right? Because you're on Saturday, Tuesday. Is that right?
Yeah, we're Saturday lunchtime.
Saturday, Tuesday. Okay, interesting. So the fact that we've got effectively Friday to Wednesday... I think that it'll play Trent. But Trent will probably come off early like he did in the last game, with Gomez getting maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, see, I mean, for me, I think that, and I was talking to Nimfria earlier, and we were talking about Liverpool and rotation risks, and I don't see, from what Klopp has said over the last few weeks, for me, I don't see there being rotation at Liverpool. I think you go out with your best team to win that match. Once you've gone out and won that match, be that on 20 minutes or 90 minutes, the players come off. So if we're 4-0 up by half time, or like do a Wolves and you're 3-0 up, then I can see some rotation there. Are managed minutes. Let's get them off and save their legs for Wednesday.
Okay.
But I think you just pick the one that you trust the most to captain. You pick Mane, you pick Salah, you pick Firmino, you pick one of the defenders, you pick one, you captain them. Okay,
Aaron Nair is saying Van Dijk is essential. I don't know about essential, but I think he could be a very, very good pick for the weekend. Should we get Milner, Chris the Jag is saying, and he's put a lol after that. I'm not sure whether we should be putting the lol in there. I think Milner is a very, very good pick indeed. He played 15 minutes against Cardiff. And I think he only did that because Fabinho come off with a head injury. I don't think Klopp expected to have to play Milner on the basis that you've given him his rest, right? So he came on, scored the penalty against Cardiff. I think we'll start against Huddersfield in that engine room and be on penalties if we get one. And now, given what we've just said about Salah getting in and around the box, we're expecting Liverpool to spend a lot of time in that Huddersfield half in and around the penalty area.
Expecting the whole game to be in there.
There's a pretty good chance a penalty could be coming our way. And if there is, Milner's going to take it. So with 3 points for the clean sheet, plus a goal for the penalty, I'm not sure we should be lolling about Milner. Milner could be a very, very nice differential if you're chasing in your mini league.
But don't you think that the lull is simply because you're going to have already at least one defender in your team, and I'm not sure that you would pick Milner over Salah or Mane.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I mean it would. For most people, I think you've got either one of Mane or Salah, and if you wanted both, there's probably a bit of surgery required to do that. So if you want to take the hits and do the surgery, fair enough. If you don't want to take the hits and don't want to do the surgery, then Milner looks like a nice player that could come in for not a lot of money. We need to move on from Liverpool. One of the players that I'm thinking about is actually a big rotation risk. Bless you. Is that only one?
I think so.
Good.
I don't know where that came from.
One of the players that I do think is a big rotation risk for this week is Lucas Moura, actually. And had I not used my 3 Liverpool spots already for Trent and Robertson and Mane, I would absolutely be thinking of a straight swap between Moura and Milner. So let's go and talk about Spurs then.
Moura and Milner.
I genuinely think Moura is a real rotation risk for the weekend.
Because you see who playing instead of him.
Well, I think you've got the Ajax game coming up, and Poch is going to look at that game and say, we need pace in our side. You're going to need pace to beat Ajax. They're a young side, they run around a lot, right? And the only 2 players that have got any real pace in the Spurs side is Son and Moura. Now, Son can't play, so Moura is going to be absolutely crucial.
I agree
for
with
that
you.
game.
However, who is he going to play instead? Because look at our bench from the other night. Unless he's going to play good old Vincent, back from the dead, from Turkey.
He could do. He got some minutes, didn't he, the other night? Incredibly.
Oh, yeah. Why did he get some minutes, though?
Because he had to.
Because we had to do something. You look at the bench from the other night, we just don't have any fit players to replace them. So who's going to play instead of Moura? For me, Moura plays.
Okay, all right. And what about Ericsson?
This plays Ollie Skip, but I can't see Ollie Skip getting a start.
Well, Dylan Nadeau is saying, yeah, Skip, why not? Give him a chance.
No, I don't think...
Give him a chance.
I don't think so.
Jared C is saying, what about Ericsson? A lot of talk on Twitter and the pods this week about maybe this is the game he gets his rest, but you genuinely don't think you've got the Poch has got the...
They haven't got the bench.
Yeah.
If Ericsson was getting rested, it would have been against Brighton on Tuesday night, because that was the easier of the 2 games. West Ham game's not an easy game for us. We're going to have to play. We're going to have to play well. And
do you think West Ham are in terrible form?
They're not really. If you look at their last couple of results, they had a decent game against Manchester United. They played well last week. I actually think that this is a tough game for us. West Ham games are always tricky. Spurs West Ham, there's that derby aspect to it.
I have actually been looking at some of the West Ham accounts that I follow on Twitter. They are right up for coming to your new home and being the first to beat you at the new stadium. They're right up for that.
Yeah, so I saw a stat earlier that said that if you count home games against, including the games at Old White Hart Lane, we've not lost a game at White Hart Lane in 21 matches. Right. And we've only conceded something like 10 goals. In that time, and obviously we've played a lot of big teams in there. Man City have been in there, Man United have been in there, so forth. West Ham, this is a proper banana skin game for me. We have to go out there full strength side, because we actually don't have anything other than full strength side. You look at that bench from Tuesday night, it was dreadful. The fact that he's got to bring on Vincent Janssen, who was told, you do not have a future at this club. You don't tell a guy you don't have a future at this club and then bring him on just to give him minutes. You don't. He has to come on because he has to.
And actually, we know that Pochettino has got a bit of history for not rotating, right? He tends to stick with his players and literally run them into the ground until they either get injured or can't play anymore. Just, I remember that, like you say, that. What was that time when Sonny kind of came back from the Asian Games and said, I'm so exhausted, I'm absolutely dead on my feet. And he started the next game and he was like, Poch gave him one of them energy gels. He was like, right, get on, come on, get
After
back
Kane
on
got
there.
injured, he pulled his hamstring, didn't he? And they gave him a gel, he carried on.
Yeah, and I think this genuinely goes back to the beginning of the season where, didn't sign anybody in the summer. The squad's potentially a bit thin now, we're at the business end. The fact that you guys are in the Champions League semi-final is incredible, absolutely incredible.
Given where we were match day 4.
Given where you were in the group, absolutely. So you're now in the Champions League semi-final. For some reason, everybody other than City and Liverpool have gone right off the board in the Premier League. No one wants to finish 4th. No. So I think third is looking pretty good for you. 4th is looking nailed on. I can't see that you don't get top 4 now. So yeah, but you've got to play these players. We're all sitting here talking about who you're going to rest because of Ajax. That you can't.
We haven't got anyone to rest.
The options are Ollie Skip or Vincent Janssen. Ain't going to win anything with them two.
Well, no, Ollie Skip's decent, but he's not decent. Look, when you've got a team that doesn't have Sissoko, doesn't have Kane, has all of these other issues going on, we don't have the ability to play Ollie Skip. Like, we don't have Harry Winks. We don't have anyone that can sit in that mid. And it's a real issue. Like, the best thing that happened the other night was when they brought on Davis and pushed Rose up. I mean, what is life becoming? By the way, Rose was brilliant on Tuesday night.
He was good,
Rose was absolutely fantastic. But yeah, I think, with your Spurs assets, the only one that really could get a rest is Lloris, because he could play Gasinga. But we don't. But he's had one last week. So
well, I'm with you. I think West Ham will be. On the face of it, they're on the beach, blah, 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 etc. West Ham. They won't be for that game. You haven't lost yet in the new stadium. They will be right up for beating you. They will really...
Of course they will.
There'll be a DVD about that if they beat you in that match, won't they? They'll bring out a DVD for that, West Ham. Let's talk about... We haven't got time to go through every game, but an interesting game for me this weekend is Sunday morning or Sunday midday, Leicester versus Arsenal.
Vardy and his party.
Well, yeah, and if I look at the Leicester fixtures on paper, guys, they are right at the bottom of the Fantasy Football Scout ticker. Arsenal, Man City, Chelsea. And I think in 37 there is a case for selling Vardy. I'm not expecting them to get much joy at the Etihad. All right, City will attack because they've got a win, so you might get some space in behind. Trust me, I would love Leicester to win at the Etihad, but I don't see it. And Chelsea at home on the last day, yeah, okay, that's a difficult game. Arsenal at home, that is not a red fixture for me. That is as green as it comes. I was, like I say, out last night, didn't watch the game. When I saw that Wolves were 3-0 up against Arsenal, I was kind of, my first... In previous seasons, my gut feel would have been like, oh my God, Arsenal losing 3-0. But it wasn't. I was just like, oh, yeah, Arsenal at it again. Has Jimenez scored? That was kind of my feeling about it. Arsenal, absolutely awful away from home.
Even the Arsenal account on Instagram at half-time posted an almost slightly trolling, well, that's not gone well.
FPL Chancellor, Dan, Arsenal 2 away clean sheets since December 2017. Dan, that can't be right.
That probably is right.
That is a hell of a statistic.
They are truly terrible. I was talking to Age yesterday about it, and he was just like, "We're just awful away from home."
I don't know what it is. I'd love for an Arsenal fan to come on the live chat and tell us, what it is. Is there, can you put your fingers on it? What is it? And I know that Aubameyang is out. I think he's had some
operation on his sinuses or something.
I read something about his nose. So yeah, as he is saying, yeah, small sinus surgery. Okay, so Aubameyang we're probably not expecting to play, but I must admit I'm not.
But they should have still enough without Aubameyang to beat. Or to have put up a fight against Wolves.
Yeah, but so for me, that game's interesting because I think on face of it, you say, well, it could be a tight game. I think Leicester are going to smash Arsenal. The way that Arsenal are playing at the minute.
Wenger in.
Wenger in, yes, absolutely right. Absolutely right. Arsenal have never kept back-to-back clean sheets since 2016. Emery tinkers too much, Mafioso was saying. Football Kid, I'm an Arsenal fan, so Football Kid,
here we go.
Very interested to hear about your views on the Arsenal away form. What is it about? Is it something about the bus or something about the planes they get on? What is it? There's something wrong there. For me, I'm a Vardy owner. I will absolutely be keeping Vardy for the Arsenal game. No problem with that at all. I think if we didn't have a fixture like Liverpool versus Huddersfield in this game week, where you 100% need to put your captain's armband, Vardy would actually be a reasonable captain shout for this week.
Yeah, I mean, I think Arsenal will 100% concede in that game for sure. Leicester will score. Yeah, I don't really know what to say about Arsenal other than I don't get it. But the thing is that if Arsenal are ever going to win a game away from home, this is the time to do it because Man United and Chelsea are playing each other. So that, in terms of fourth spot, this is the time for them to, if they're going to, make a claim for that fourth spot. While the other two are playing each other, this is the time. So you would hope that Arsenal will come out and give it to Leicester, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. Normally, the 12 o'clock, the midday kickoffs on a Sunday, normally take a bit of time to get going.
Rubbish,
They're not always got a great reputation for being a great game.
Are all three on TV? It must be.
I think they are, back to back, all three. So yeah, it's going to be a very interesting afternoon of football, absolutely. And I don't think Man City is an easy game going to Burnley. I'm expecting them to win, but even that could be a very good game. And then Chelsea, Man U, both pretty average at the moment, frankly. I'm not sure how that game's going to go, but how do you see, of the rest of the fixtures on the Sunday afternoon, how do you see Burnley, Man City going, and how do you see United, Chelsea going?
I saw, so on paper, that Man City game is surely just a Man City win. However, there was a I wish I'd have saved it. There was a post on Instagram from a Burnley fan who was saying that in the last 5 seasons, they've always beaten the reigning champions.
Okay, interesting.
At home.
And did you? I also spotted. This is why in social media is so great for stats like this, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you were to have a Premier League table that ran from just the 1st of January in 2019 to now, Burnley would be 5th.
Yeah, Burnley.
So they've had and up until they are where they are because up until Christmas they were flipping awful.
Yeah.
At the turn of the year, I don't know what they had for Christmas, what was in the turkey, but very very good since January the 1st. Would be 5th if the league were run that way. I don't think it's going to be a walkover for Man City, but I do see them winning. They've got to go out and win the game. Burnley now 40 points in the league, pretty safe. They might go out with the shackles off, but that might play into City's hands. So I think an away win, but you see it going anywhere else? I think Burnley and Sean Dyche can put up a bit of a... Can they reignite some of the hope that Liverpool fans have had in the last couple of weeks, or is the league over?
They can try.
They can certainly try.
But yeah. I think Man City... I think they'll have too much for them. The only thing I will say about Man City is they did... I watched the game last night, and to me, Man City, some of those players did look tired. Like, they did look like... They
looked a bit... From what I heard, again, didn't watch the game, but from what I heard, they looked a little bit nervous in the first half against Man U.
Yeah, they did. And Man United were all right in the first half.
Yeah.
And they actually had some good chances in the second half as well to go level. It's just that Lukaku's useless, and I don't know what Rashford was doing for some of them. But City did look tired to me. They looked like they looked a bit like Son when he got back from... his travels around Korea.
Yeah. So FPL Fozzie is saying, spot the hopeful Liverpool fan. You're absolutely right, Fozzie. I am clutching at a lot of straws right now.
Burnley coloured straws.
Got to have some hope. Come on, Sean Dyche's Claret and Blue Army. Got to have a bit of hope.
What time have I got to deal with this? 2:00 on Sunday?
2:05 on Sunday.
Wow.
Eddie Gooner, Burnley to beat City, lol. Yeah, right. Yeah, I know. Matthew Sol, Burnley will put up more of a fight than United. I genuinely think that. I was astounded that it was 0-0 in the Manchester derby at half time, to be honest. And that gave me a little bit of false hope there. I don't think City's remaining 3 games are easy by any stretch of the imagination, but I do expect them to win. I do expect them to win their last 3, and I do expect them now to win the league. But let's see. Man United versus Chelsea. How do you see that going? I think
no one wants to win, so it'll be a draw.
Well, it's an interesting game, and I noticed one of the pods, or I noticed on Twitter something about how Hazard is potentially going to be up against Darmian on that side at the weekend, and that could be quite an interesting battle.
Darmian got absolutely rinsed by Phil Neville again at the end of the game.
Yeah, not their best player at the moment.
No.
I think there's a player in there somewhere. I've watched him before.
Well, you've given him more credit than Phil Neville did last night.
I know. I've watched him a couple of times, and he's really hit and miss. He either has a really good game or a really bad game. United fans, tell us in the live chat what you think. Get in the comments and tell us if you think Darmian's a player or not. I think there is a player in there under the right manager. But coming up against one of the league's best, Hazard, at the weekend, got the potential to be a bloodbath. How do you see the game going?
No, I don't see a bloodbath at all. I just see 2 distinctly average sides at the moment playing each other. 0-0.
0-0. Well, from your perspective, that would be great, right? A draw is exactly what you'd want, given that Arsenal bound to get spanked at King Power. Could be a good weekend for Spurs.
Last weekend I was expecting us to have a nightmare because we were going to lose to City and the others were all going to win, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to be a nightmare, and then they all decided that they were all going to drop points. It's weird. I can't see anything. I can't see any of them having... I don't see either of them having the bottle to win the game, so hence I think it will be a draw.
And FPL Chance, a nice comment there. Can't think of a Man United-Chelsea match that has been less FPL relevant. You're absolutely right. We're sitting here talking about the chase for 4th, mainly because I don't think there's too much to talk about from an FPL perspective. I'm certainly not in the current form considering getting any Manchester United players. The last 2 games of the season for United are Huddersfield and Cardiff. So if you're really chasing in your mini-leagues, you really want a differential, maybe go and get a Lukaku or somebody and put the armband on him and see what happens if you really want to take a punt against like a Huddersfield Cardiff in 37-38. But outside of that, I certainly wouldn't put any trust into Manchester United at the moment, and Chelsea equally. The one player that was showing a bit of promise for them, unfortunately for him, Callum Hudson-Odoi, has now got a really bad Achilles injury, right? So he's going to be out for some time now, which is a real shame for him because he was just starting to make an impact in that team. Of course, Hazard is the one FPL asset you might look at, but I'm certainly not looking to bring him in. Are you? Hazard? Chelsea assets? What do you think?
I've got Pogba.
Oh, okay, so what are you doing with Pogba? That's interesting.
Just throwing him off the nearest cliff.
He could get a penalty again. He got lucky the other week.
I don't know. I watched last night's game with my Pogba FPL owner hat on, and I saw nothing from him that made me think I should keep him. But the last 2 game weeks of the season look nice.
Yeah.
And I keep kind of looking, but then am I just holding this? Why am I holding him still? Like, I held him the first week on gut feel. My gut said keep him, and it was the right thing to do.
Kevin Mellier says keep him, Sam.
No, I don't. See, don't say this because I genuinely don't know what to do about him.
Joseph O'Gorman says Pogba was in the PFA Team of the Year.
Yes, but
what
why?
more do you want?
What?
The only non-City or Liverpool player to be in there, Paul Pogba.
Ridiculous.
Keep him, Sam. Keep him.
I mean, how we can be in there above Sonny, who's travelled the world this season and still played every game.
Pogba has been actual guff all season, to the point where he got his manager sacked. Then he was really world class for about 2 months, and now he's crap again. And he's in the PFA Team of the Year. Absolutely unreal. Couldn't believe it. Tony Tyrell, I've got Pogba and Rashford. Well, Tony, I will be looking out for you at the top of the April Manager of the Month to see whether Pogba and Rashford can get anything for you against Chelsea there on Sunday afternoon.
I'm really up in the air with what to do about Pogba. See, the thing is that Pogba's my enabler for
Football
me
Kid.
now.
Sell Pogba, Sam. Sell.
Oh, he's an Arsenal fan though, so oh, I'm only joking.
I noticed he commented before Football Kid. He said, "I don't like the way you guys underestimate Arsenal.
We don't underestimate Arsenal if they're at home.
Correct.
But we underestimate Arsenal. No, we just estimate that Arsenal will be poor
away. It's not underestimation. They're bad, and the facts show it.
Away
from
bad.
Home, they're bad.
At home, go for it. Have Arsenal players, absolutely.
Steve Wynyard, a regular to these live streams.
If he
Steve,
comes to just give me some abuse again.
He's not here to give you abuse. He's here to give you advice, Sam. Advice from Steve. I'm a United fan.
Oh, I do want this.
Sell Pogba.
Oh.
Sell Pogba. That's coming from the horse's mouth there, a United fan.
Even ahead of those 2 nice fixtures in 37-38.
There we go. Ian Barrett, I have Pogba and Rashford. Want to get rid, but those 2 last games.
I know, right? But at one point, I was going to captain Pogba in 38.
God,
how have we gone from how have we got triple captain Pogba in 38?
Well, listen,
how have we gone from that to I'm going to sell him in 35?
I, for one, have no United players, and I'm very okay with that situation. I noticed that how quickly and easily you swerved the Chelsea. I asked you about Chelsea assets. You went Pogba. So you completely ignored that question. I'm not going to ask you again. I think what I'm going to take from that answer is you don't fancy any of them.
Well, the only one you're going to have is Hazard, and he's so expensive that would you have him over Mane or Salah?
Forget it.
No, you wouldn't. So don't bother.
You wouldn't have him. Where else do you want to go? I want to give a quick shout out to Fulham, actually, of all teams, because actually they've upped their game in the last couple of weeks. I've noticed
Ryan Babel.
I've noticed the manager in there is trying out some new things. He's experimenting a little bit. He's working with some of the
anymore.
Well, nothing to lose, right? They're down and out, so might as well try some of the new systems out for the championship. Might as well, yeah.
In Gameweek 35, might as well try now, boys.
No, but you know what I mean? Try new stuff out for next season, right? And a lot of you guys in the live chat, like Joseph O'Gorman, babble. You know, right? Karam is saying Tim Ream is essential. Karam, you've gone way too over the top there. But listen, you know, he has got a couple of clean sheets recently, so is it such a crazy thought? I did notice actually. I went to the Fantasy Football Scout members area and looked at the goals imminent table, which is obviously Jonty's baby, right? So that's one of Joe's babies. Absolutely brilliant. So again, get well soon, Joe. But one of the things that Joe is always massive on is the goals imminent table. It's an absolute staple. Always have a look at that every week. Mitrovic is right in there. Let me give you some stats about Mitrovic. 16 shots in the box in his last 4 games, 8 on target, an XG of 2.1, only 1 goal, and he's playing Cardiff at home this game week. Mitrovic, how do you feel about that as a potential bit of a differential? Potential differential. There we go.
No, because Cardiff need to win that game.
Yeah, but Fulham, the shackles are off. They're starting to play some nice stuff now.
But Cardiff need to win that game. The last couple of games, Fulham have been playing people that didn't need to win matches for their position in the league. Now, they're playing a side that absolutely have to win this game.
Okay, all right.
So for me, Mitrovic would not be top of the list. Ryan Babel, on the other hand, I might be tempted with.
Okay, interesting. Let's see what you guys are saying. Dom J, Mitro's a no from me. FPL Chance are saying Mitrovic wants a summer transfer, so potentially that's why he's putting himself in the window.
He's doing a Mahrez.
Azzy is saying Le Marchand triple captain. That is
Tim Ream,
outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. Karam is saying Mitrovic for Lorente. Looks like a good shout. Yeah, okay. I quite like the sound of that. So either way, not too much to talk about in terms of Fulham versus Cardiff, I don't think, from an FPL perspective. But I just wanted to put that Mitrovic thing out there. Wow. I don't know if he's under 5% owned, but if he is, he will be my jammy pick for this week. If he's under 5% owned. If he's not, it's Ryan Babel. That's going to be my jammy pick. So there you go. There's while you're thinking about the jammy pick, you can't have either of those two.
Brilliant. I'm just going to decide on my Jammy Pick, so you're going to talk for a bit.
Any other teams that you want to discuss here? Where do we want to talk about? Brighton and Newcastle. What are you doing with your Brighton assets? You've got Duffy, right?
Well, I'll just keep him. I'll just bench him.
Got to keep him for that, haven't you?
Well, probably play him against Newcastle. Can we just have a quick chat about Watford, please?
We can do our 42 seconds on Watford in just a second. The only thing to say about Brighton is, I think if you've got Brighton defensive assets, I think you keep them for that.
I think the defensive ones are fine, but if you've got Glenn Murray, for goodness sake, we've learned that he can't play enough games.
Yeah,
so
we've said plenty of times already in the last week or so, a couple of weeks, that Brighton are,
poor.
In my view, no, not at all. I think they're doing what they're good at, which is defence, right?
Yeah,
so they dug in against Wolves, got a point. Dug in against Spurs, very nearly got a point. I expect they'll dig in against Newcastle again. And by the way, Newcastle can score in that game. Perez is on form. They've got Rondon. They've got Almiron's injured, right? So actually, that's a good point, isn't it? With Almiron injured, how's that going to affect the Perez and Rondon dynamic? Who knows? Either way, I'm expecting Brighton to dig in. So I will be playing Duffy. Might even be tempted to double up and go for Ryan as well in goal. But let's see. Go on then, Watford. Give us your views on Watford.
Well, no, I just want to talk about Watford because my transfer plans this week were to lose Pogba and downgrade him to either Deulofeu or Miljokovic.
Okay. Talk to me about... So let's move on to that then. What's your transfer plans for this week then? Milivojevic or Deulofeu as Pogba replacements?
To enable Llorente to Firmino.
Oh, nice. Okay, I like the look of that. Okay, good. Which one are you siding towards, Deulofeu or Milivojevic?
I don't know. And I've literally been like this for the last 3 days. I've just gone Deulofeu, Miljokovic, Deulofeu, because I think there's pros and cons to both of them.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm really undecided. So if anyone's got any views on that, that'd be useful. I think for me, Deulofeu is kind of the heartbeat of that Watford team, and when he's there, he just seemed to play really well. And
he's the one player that looks. Sorry to interrupt you. I realise I've just cut you off completely. He's the one player, and Watford have got some very, very good players and some very efficient players and some players that play very. Safe's not the right word, but they're very efficient with the ball and pass completion rate's very good.
Yeah.
Deulofeu is the flair player in that side, isn't he? He's the one that provides the class, right?
Yeah.
He's almost like the anti-Deeney. Deeney's got no class at all. But Deulofeu, yeah, he's the one player that you'd say wouldn't look out of place in maybe a top 6 side, right?
Yes, I agree with that, yeah.
And when he plays, and I know I've noticed that okay, Huddersfield was the last game, wasn't it? But he scored some flipping nice goals, didn't he?
Yes.
Even in the cup, what was that? The cup semi, wasn't it? When they beat Wolves, he didn't start, came on, scored some beautiful goals. And against Huddersfield, that first one he scored a really nice goal again. I haven't looked at his XG, but I would expect that his expected goals is quite low because the goals that he does score are very, very good indeed. But I think he's a nice pick.
I just think that that Watford Wolves game is an interesting one, isn't it? Because it's a repeat of that cup semi-final. We know that Deulofeu can score goals against Wolves because of the way that Wolves play. That always leaves them a little bit open to
I think Wolves
to
could be out for
conceding.
revenge after that cup semi-final.
Yeah,
Could
absolutely.
be.
So that's one to think about. And then part of me looks at that Palace lineup now. Everton have been really good defensively of late. They've kept a lot of clean sheets.
Been better, haven't they? Yeah.
So the likes of Digne have been returning really well for their owners. But Palace do love a penalty at the end of the season. And Miljokovic does seem to go on these roles where Zaha's winning a lot of penalties, Miljokovic is putting away a lot of penalties, and part of me thinks, okay. So I'm really torn between the two of them. It's going to be one of those two to enable the Llorente to Firmino thing, but I just don't know which one.
Okay, all right. A couple more players to mention. I think Zaha is in good form. If I was picking a player out of Palace, I'd maybe go for Zaha. But of course, you can't have him not midfield as a forward, right? So you'd have to do Llorente to Zaha if that was a potential move. Yeah. And for Everton, I think Siggy actually is flourishing a bit more now in that number 10 role. He's back in his preferred position now under Marco Silva. He's played with under previous managers, out on the wing and deep line midfield and all sorts of places where he doesn't want to play. He's now in that nice position. He's on free kicks and corners. I, for one, will be keeping a very keen eye on Siggy's price next season for that Everton side. If Marco Silva's going to play him in that number 10, we know what he can do in FPL, Siggy. Absolutely sensational. So he's absolutely one to watch. For this game week, I think that Palace-Everton game is a very hard one to call, actually. If you were going to say what the score would be, where would you go? Home win, away win, draw? What would you think?
Palace aren't as good away from at home as they are away from home.
Yeah, away it seems to be better, don't they? Yeah. Not much on it though, is there really? Neither's going to break into the top 6 or 7.
No, and
could Everton do it?
That's the one thing that puts me off Miljokovic, is that there isn't really anything to play with other than for kind of next season prep and all of that sort of stuff. And Everton are in really good form, so I don't know. Maybe it's tight. It's really tight, that one. I don't know.
Okay, all right. So some assets in there anyway, but I think if we're at the business end of the season now. For me, you've got to start thinking about who's got something to play for. It's Liverpool, it's City, it's those other teams that are fighting for the top 4 despite the form. And of those that are fighting for the top 4, I think Spurs look like the ones, given the home fixtures coming up. And I know you lost a game recently to Man City, but there's no shame in that, right?
It was Man City, yeah.
And you created a lot of chances against the Brighton team that really dug in. Not all teams are going to dig in quite in the way that Brighton did and defend literally for their Premier League lives.
And that's the thing, West Ham won't do that.
Yeah,
West Ham will play us.
I think they will want to come and beat you there, and they will come out and they will want to score goals, and because of that, players like Son and Moura and Eriksen could have a good game. Could have a good game for sure. All right, let's review our teams then. We've talked a little bit about your transfer policy for the week. Just to review that while I'm loading up the team, you're thinking of...
so I'm probably going... I want to go Firmino for this week. I want Firmino to the end of the season, but I also want to keep Vardy, so that means Llorente up. So that means Pogba's coming down.
Oh, it was Pogba, wasn't it? Pogba and Llorente out potentially, and then Milivojevic stroke... Deulofeu with Firmino up front. Okay, I like the sound of that. I am nowhere near as advanced in my thinking with my transfers as you.
You've only got until tomorrow.
Week. I know, and it's coming up thick and fast, right? We've got only until 7:00 tomorrow, so I do need to consider what I want to do. I'm very happy to have the core of my side. I've got my 3 Liverpool, I've got 2 Manchester City, and 2 Spurs there. That's going to form the core of my game week, right? I think all 3 of those teams are going to win this game week. And then if I look at the periphery, well, Vardy, we've already spoke about how good he could do. Duffy, I think they're going to dig in and do pretty well there. So really, I've got a decision to make between do I go double Brighton or play Foster.
You're surely not going to play Foster when you're playing.
Well, no, I do. I think Wolves. I think Wolves could go and score there. Yeah, for sure. Given they just had a very confidence-boosting win against Arsenal. I know they're a different beast away from home than they are at home. They're not quite as good away. But Raul Jimenez, I'm not. I will play him, and to get to a point where I need to actually bench my Southampton assets in Valerie and Højbjerg. The reason I'm doing that is because I think the Southampton and Bournemouth game, we didn't touch on it very much, but I think it's a very unpredictable game. Couldn't honestly tell you where that's going to go, that game. Could be 0-0, could be 6-6, that game. Bournemouth at the minute are one of the most unpredictable teams. So right now I'm going for that. Doherty sadly gets a spot on the bench because, a goal in the last game week says that perhaps he should get a start. But at the minute, my 11 looks pretty good. I don't think I'm going to make a transfer. I think I'm going to leave it as that is and potentially roll it for next week. I don't see anything that I really need to do or anything that really needs doing. Mane gets the captaincy for absolute sure. I do like Vardy as well. I do think Vardy could do well. But I'm backing Leicester to beat Arsenal, whereas I'm backing Liverpool to smash Huddersfield. I think the potential goal ceiling is a lot higher in that Liverpool-Huddersfield game than it is in the Leicester and Arsenal game, if that makes sense. Vardy could get a goal or 2. Mane could get... Liverpool could get anything against Huddersfield, couldn't they? And I don't think that's a red goggles thing. I do think that game has got the potential to be big. Depending on the Liverpool mentality. If we get a few goals and then take our foot off the pedal, then you might be thinking about captaining somebody else. But right now, got to be Mane. Let's have a look at your team then for the game week. Here we are. Let's go into here. Let's go here. So obviously this is your team from last week. Talk us through it very briefly. I think we're pretty much set, right? And we've already discussed it's Pogba and Llorente out. But anything else you want to talk about from your team?
I think that's what I'm going to do.
Worried about the Lloris clean sheet with West Ham wanting to come and win at the new stadium, or Foster at home against Wolves? How are you feeling about the goalkeepers?
We don't concede a lot at home. Not really.
Been pretty good so far, haven't you?
And even if you look back at our home record, like I was saying, over the last 21 games, I'll find that and I'll send it to you and you can tweet it. We've only conceded 10 goals in 21 games at home.
Very good. Yeah, it's very good.
So we don't concede a lot of goals. So I'll probably play Luis, to be honest.
Okay, all right. And tell me, because there's a nice question in here from Azzy. Lee and Sam, have you still got your triple captain?
No.
We haven't. No, I infamously wasted mine a few weeks back on Salah.
And then Pep wasted mine.
And then Pep wasted yours a couple of weeks later when he rested. Was it Sterling or Sterling? So neither of us has had much joy with the triple captainship. If you had the triple captainship
Mane.
this game week, you'd put it on Mane, right? And I think I would do the same, guys. There's absolutely a case for Salah, no question. And he's the superstar pick, if you like. You know, he's the one that can go big. We've seen it in the past. He could go 3 goals, 2 or 3 goals, no question. For me, I just think Mane and the expectation of him scoring goals, and you know, if you put those 2 wonder goals to one side, the one against Chelsea for Salah and the one against Southampton, with the Chelsea one in particular being a wonder goal, if you take those 2 out, you're looking at actually 1 assist from Salah, or I actually don't know, but you know, not many FPL points from Salah. It's only because he got those 2 goals we're even really considering him. Whereas Mane has been constantly ticking the points over, getting 8, 9, 10 points. And maybe as if you're playing a triple captainship, what you really want is somebody explosive, and on that basis, maybe you do go Salah. But Mane's got the potential to be explosive as well. I think he's got 2 or 3 goals in him, as has Firmino. But if you were asking me outright, who would you triple captain? It would be Mane for this week. It absolutely would be Mane. So there we go. That is it. Anything else we want to review? What have we not discussed? Polls, and then we've got to talk about this little dude here that
Would you like a Jammy Pick?
keeps falling over. I would love a Jammy Pick. I saw in the live chat earlier that I can't have. Who did I pick before? Fulham. Mitrovic. Can't have Mitrovic. He's 10% owned. But I can have Ryan Babel. He's less than 1%, Ryan Babel.
Well, I'm going to go for somebody that's 2.5%.
Okay.
On the basis of everything that we've said tonight, and I'm going to have James Milner.
James Milner, Jammy Pick. How much TSB is he?
2.5.
2.5%, James Milner. It is a risky one, and of course with Jammy Pick you're allowed to be risky. That's the whole point of it. Could he start? Might he not? Can he
get a penalty? Yes.
Would his experience away in the Champions League against a team like Barcelona be absolutely invaluable? And has Klopp played him in most of the away games in the Champions League so far in the knockout stages? Yes. So on that basis, even if he does start against Huddersfield, I wouldn't expect him to get the 90. But nevertheless, only played 15 minutes against Cardiff. So, you know, Klopp must have in his head that, you know, he wanted to rest him against Cardiff for this upcoming schedule that's coming up, including the Huddersfield game. So yeah, nice Jammy Pick, 2.5% owned, will be on penalties, despite the fact Salah tried to take it off of him last game. I don't know if you saw that. Looked a bit disappointed. He wants the golden boot, I understand that.
So does Mane though.
But yeah, so does Mane. But Milner pulled rank there, and quite rightly so, right?
Milner.
If he misses that, Milner, and if Salah misses and actually they go on to equalise, then it's season over, isn't it? So I think Milner quite rightly pulled rank there. So Milner, this week's Jammy Pick, 2.5%. And Ryan Babel, 0.something% owned. Football Kid is saying, Sam, you're my favourite, although you support Spurs.
Oh, is that my like?
He's not happy with us this evening, Football Kid, because of all of our
anti-Arsenal.
Because of the anti-Arsenal,
it's only
particularly from
me.
I'm not his favourite anymore. He says.
It's only Arsenal away from home. We've been nice about them at home.
So I've been in Dublin the last couple of days, and I was out for dinner with my boss last night.
Is he an Arsenal fan?
He's a massive gooner, absolutely massive gooner. Goes to many of the home games. He was going in on the Gooners last night, going absolutely in. 350 grand a week, Ozil. We had drunk quite a lot of Guinness at that stage though, so you can forgive him for maybe going in a little bit. Who is this guy? Let's have a look. Show him to the guys. While I read out the polls, guys, get in the live chat. Let us know who you think that is. I'm going to bring up the polls. 1 second.
Right. Going to bring up the polls.
Going to bring up the polls. Only 2 questions because I didn't get my act together in time. Who will be champion, Sam? Liverpool or Man City?
Well, I still think you're in with it. So Liverpool.
No.
Liverpool. You've got to go with what I say.
Nice of you to say that.
It's getting worse.
78% say Man City. And I must admit, we sat here on a very, very similar live stream 2 weeks ago, and I said, or this time last week, and I said, I think the league will be decided in the next 2 fixtures because City had to play
Spurs. Looks
like your brother. City had to play Spurs and Manchester United. And I sat here and said, if they win those 2 games, they'll win the league. They've won the 2 games, 2 clean sheets. Even I think they're going to win it now. But listen, you never know. Sean Dyche is Claret and Blue Army.
They've beaten the champions for the last 5 years.
Game week 36, Captain Sam, you're going for Mane out of Salah, Mane, Son, Aguero or Sterling?
Yes, I'm going Mane, yeah.
You're going for Mane. 67% of the community agree with you. 25% go with the Egyptian King Mo Salah. 3% going for Son and 3% for Sterling. Nobody going for Aguero. There we go. How often do we do a captain poll where Aguero gets 0%? Very, very unusual.
Because the games are nice for everyone else.
But the games are nice for everybody else. And in particular, Salah and Mane, I think you've got to have one of those guys as your captain. I think it's the right thing to do. Some nice jammy picks in the live chat. Let's see. Azzy Jammy Pick Cater, 1.6%. Yeah, nice. I like that. Let's see what you guys are saying. Mafia Soul looks like Andy Sinton. Goodness me, there's a blast from the past. Andy Sinton. It's not. Anish Thakar. Michael Owing. No, it's not. Let's see.
There's a lot of right answers.
There's a lot of right answers here. This is very good, guys. Let's see.
Glenn
Hoddle, no. Keno, no. Leo Hakkinen, I'll take Tim Ream. It's not Tim Ream, Leo.
No, does he mean I'll take Tim Ream for Jammy Pick?
For Jammy Pick, okay, could be, yeah. Jammy Pick. Anish Henderson Jammy Pick, yeah, I like that. It is, guys, this little chap here is Gary Pallister, and well done to everybody that said that. I think that's an easy one.
Do you think so?
I think that's an easy one.
England's number 6.
How many caps did Pallister ever get?
Well,
someone's going to tell me now he got like 40 caps or something.
These are all from Euros, aren't they? Euro 96, I think.
Yeah, sounds about right. Well, there we go, guys. Gary Pallister, well done to everybody that said that. Karam is in the live chat saying, Vincent Janssen, Sam, Jammy Pick, owned by the square root of 0 people in FPL.
Is he even in the game?
I don't even know. So there we go, guys. That is it for tonight's FPL Family.
Yes, he is in the game.
He's in the game.
0% owned.
The Karam has come out with
4.5 million.
The jammiest of picks there from Karam. Karam, if you that's a great. If ever there was,
the best thing about him is that 2 seats down from us on Tuesday night when he come on, his name's Vincent.
Yeah.
But the guy a couple of seats down from us just kept shouting out. Oh, what was he calling him? He was calling him something completely different. We were like,
is it broadcastable? Is it broadcastable?
Yeah, but it was another. It was Victor. He kept calling him Victor. He was like, "Come on, Victor." We were like, "His name's Vincent."
His name's Vincent.
It's Vincent, yeah. And he was like, "What?" So he's only been in Turkey. Like he's not been that far away.
Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. When are you there next? You're there for the Ajax game, aren't you?
Tuesday.
Oh, lucky devil, lucky devil. That is going to be some game, guys.
You can watch it on the TV.
Absolutely looking forward to the Champions League coming. I think it's going to be sensational. But before that, guys, game week 36. Good luck this weekend. I think most of us are going to know how the game week's going to go after Friday, right? I think all the captains are going to play Friday. I don't think there's too much action, FPL action, going to happen on the Saturday. And the Sunday is Arsenal and it's Leicester and it's Chelsea and it's Man U and it's Man City. So it feels like it's going to be bookended. This game week. Feels like Saturday's just going to sort of happen with Wolves and Delafeu and maybe a couple of others. But it's going to be all Liverpool and it's going to be everybody else at the end of the game week. So listen, guys, thank you for joining us tonight. A good game week ahead, only 3 to go. This is it. This is 36, and we've got 37, 38, and then we are done for the summer. No World Cup, no Euros. What are we going to do for 2 months?
We're going to take our little boy to his first match pre-season. That's what we're going to do.
Where are you going to take him? What have you got to the new stadium, or are we going to build him up to that and maybe take him to Stevenage or Vicarage Road or something?
He wants to go to Vicarage Road. Sorry, Joe.
Some people want to go to Vicarage Road, that's all I'm saying.
We're going to take him to the home of football.
He's going to go bang, straight in, get his expectations right up there that every stadium in the world is like the Spurs' new stadium.
This is what it looks like, yeah. We're going to, pre-season game, I'll pick one, we're going to take him.
And bless him, I think when you told him that a few weeks ago and you said, yeah, we'll take you to the new stadium, he in his mind, he was thinking something, and I was like, what are you thinking, Max? What are you thinking? And he was saying, do I need to take my boots? He thought he was going to play.
Aww.
He thought he was going to play. He said, we'll take you to the new stadium. He was like, we'll play.
I FaceTimed him, didn't I, from Tuesday night from the ground. And he was sat there having his dinner looking at this, and you could see his head like, wow, that is massive.
That's amazing.
That's massive, mummy. Like, you look really small standing in that massive stand.
He will love it. He will love it. He'll see it. He'll love it. And then I'll take him to Anfield to watch a proper game. On that note, guys, good night. Good luck in game week 36. There's our Twitter, @FPL Family. If you want to go and head over to Instagram, @FPL Family there as well. Like, share, subscribe, put the comments below, all the usual stuff that you guys do. Leave us a like before you go. If you're new, hit that subscribe button. If you want to check out our Patreon, patreon.com/FPL Family. Thank you to all the new patrons this week. If you're having any trouble getting into the Slack, let me know. Would love to see you over there too. Green arrows in game week 36. We will see you Thursday. Next Thursday. Unless there's something on. Feels like
No,
there's something on.
We'll be back on Sunday.
Sunday we'll be on. The outro was way too quick then. My mouth was moving quicker than my head was thinking.
We'll be back on Sunday, and then we'll be here again on Thursday.
We will be back on Sunday, usual slot, 8 p.m. We'll see you then. Cheers, guys.
Come on, Burnley.
Sean Dyche's Blue Army.